Welcome to our YouTube channel, The Alien Tales, and please ensure that you have subscribed.
She visits Earth every autumn. I age while she remains timeless. 40 years of hellos and goodbyes. I'm gray now, she's still starlight. This might be our last October together. The maple leaves were burning crimson when I first saw her materialize beside the old stone bridge. 25 years old and foolishly brave, I'd been photographing the autumn colors when reality seemed to shimmer like heat waves. Then she was there, tall, ethereal, with silver hair that moved as if underwater and eyes like captured nebulae. "You can see me," she said, her voice carrying harmonics that made my chest resonate. "Most humans can't." I nearly dropped my camera. "Who are you?" "Vexania." The name rolled off her tongue like music from distant worlds. "I'm what you might call a temporal observer. I study civilizations across their lifespans." She gestured to the changing leaves. "Your autumn season coincides with a convergence point in dimensional space. It's when I can visit your realm." "Visit from where?" She smiled, and I swear the air around us sparkled. "Everywhere. Everywhen." She stepped closer, studying my face with scientific curiosity. "You're different. Your quantum signature is unusual. Most humans exist in a single temporal thread, but you seem to resonate across multiple probability streams." I didn't understand half of what she said, but something in her presence made my soul feel like it was waking up from a long sleep. "Will I see you again?" "Every autumn, if you wish it." Her form began to fade as the sun set. Same place, same time. The convergence only lasts until the first frost. As she vanished, I whispered to the empty air, "I wish it." I waited by the bridge every day that October, doubting my sanity. On the 15th day, she appeared again, exactly as I remembered, timeless, luminous, impossible. "You came back," Vexania said, surprise coloring her ethereal features. "I promised I would." I'd brought coffee in a thermos and sandwiches, unsure if beings from other dimensions ate human food. "Are you hungry?" She accepted the coffee with wonder, holding the cup like it contained liquid starlight. "I don't require sustenance as you do, but I can appreciate the molecular complexity. This is pleasant." She sipped carefully. "In 40,000 years of observation, no species has ever shared their nourishment with me." 40,000 years? My 26-year-old mind struggled with the concept. Time moves differently for my kind. What you call a year passes for me like minutes for you. She settled beside me on the stone wall, her otherworldly presence somehow comfortable. "Tell me about yourself, Tobias. What dreams fill your brief, bright existence?" I told her about my photography, my hope to capture beauty that would outlast me. She listened with an intensity that made me feel like the most important being in the universe. "Beauty," she mused. "Yes, I see it in you. Your species burns so briefly, but so brilliantly." She touched my hand, her skin cool as moonlight. "Perhaps that's why beauty matters more to you than to us eternal ones." When she faded that night, I was already counting days until next October. By our 5th autumn together, I'd grown comfortable with impossibility. Vexania and I would walk through the changing forests, her form flickering between dimensions as she showed me wonders beyond human comprehension. She could manipulate light, bending it into impossible colors that had no names in any Earth language. "Watch," she said, cupping her hands as Aurora Borealis danced between her fingers. "This is how stars are born in the Andromeda spiral." I photographed everything, though my camera could only capture shadows of her true magnificence. She was fascinated by my need to preserve moments. "Why do you document these meetings?" she asked as I adjusted my settings. "Because I'm mortal," I said simply. "My memory will fade, but these images won't. Someday, when I'm old, I'll look at these photos and remember what it felt like to touch infinity." Something shifted in her expression, a flicker of emotion I'd never seen before. "You speak of aging as if it's inevitable, isn't it?" She was quiet for a long time, watching leaves spiral down around us. "For your kind, yes, but sometimes I forget how precious that makes each moment." She turned to me, her nebula eyes intense. "Tobias, in all my observations, I've never felt attachment. But with you," she didn't finish the sentence, but I understood. I was falling in love with an immortal being, and somehow, impossibly, she was beginning to care for me too. Is that dangerous? I asked. For someone like you to feel attachment? I don't know, she admitted. I've never let it happen before. 10 years in, I was 35 with laugh lines and the beginning of gray at my temples. Vexania remained exactly as she'd always been, ageless, perfect, untouched by time's passage. You're changing, she observed, tracing the lines around my eyes with fingers that felt like cool starlight. That's what humans do, I said, catching her hand and holding it against my cheek. We change, we age, we die. It's the price of being real. Real. She repeated the word like it was foreign. Am I not real to you? You're the most real thing in my universe. But you're also eternal. You'll exist long after my name is forgotten. After the sun burns out. After. She silenced me with a kiss that tasted like cosmic dust and distant supernovas. When we broke apart, her eyes were shimmering with something that looked almost like tears. I need to tell you something, she whispered. My kind, we don't feel the way you do. Emotion is a biological imperative for species that reproduce, that form bonds for survival. We are beyond such needs. My heart clenched. But you've changed me, Tobias. 40 years of your Earth time, I've watched civilizations rise and fall with academic detachment. Yet 40 days with you, and I feel something I cannot catalog or understand. She pulled away, her form flickering with agitation. I think I love you, and I don't know what that makes me anymore. I reached for her as she began to fade. Vexania, wait, I need time to understand what's happening to me, she said, her voice echoing across dimensions. What you've made me become. She vanished, leaving me alone with the autumn wind. She didn't come the next October, or the next. For 3 years, I waited by our bridge, watching the leaves fall alone. I aged in those years, 41, 42, 43. Gray spread through my hair like frost, and I wondered if I'd lost her forever. Other people thought I was crazy. I'd never married, never settled down, always waiting for someone who existed in stories that sounded like delusions. My sister Sarah tried to set me up with her friends. Toby, you can't keep living for someone who isn't there, she pleaded. It's been 3 years. Move on. But how could I explain that Vexania was more real to me than anyone else I'd ever known? That her absence left a void in my chest that ached with every breath? I kept photographing autumn, but the colors seemed muted without her there to give them meaning. My portfolio grew famous. The lonely photographer's seasonal obsession, critics called it. They saw melancholy and longing in my work but couldn't understand the source. On the 4th October without her, I almost didn't go to the bridge. What was the point? But habit drew me there as the sun set, and I sat on our stone wall, feeling every one of my 44 years. I'm sorry, came a voice like wind chimes in a cosmic breeze. I turned, and there she was, unchanged, eternal, beautiful. But something was different. Her light seemed steadier, more focused, as if she'd made some fundamental decision about her existence. You came back, I whispered. I never really left, she said, settling beside me. I just needed to understand what loving you would cost. My people have noticed my irregularity, Vexania explained as we walked through the October forest. Her hand in mine felt more solid than before, more present. Temporal observers are not supposed to form attachments. It compromises our objectivity. What did they say? That I must choose. Continue my observations with proper detachment, or... She hesitated. Or what? Or accept exile from my dimension. Become bound to linear time like you are. Age, change, eventually die. She stopped walking, turned to face me. Give up immortality for love. The weight of it hit me like a physical blow. Vexania, no. You can't do that. Not for me. Why not? Because I'm just one human in billions. I'll be gone in a few decades anyway. You've existed for 40,000 years, you could exist for 40,000 more. Civilizations will rise and fall. Stars will be born and die, and you'll be there to witness it all. I cupped her face, marveling at how real she felt. I won't let you trade eternity for 30 or 40 years with someone who's already aging out of your life. Her nebula eyes flashed with something fierce. Don't you understand? Those 40,000 years mean nothing compared to 40 more October nights with you. I've observed a million loves across 1,000 worlds, but I never understood what I was seeing until I felt it myself. But the cost is mine to pay. She kissed me again, and this time I could taste her decision in it. Final, absolute, chosen. I've already made my choice, Tobias. I submitted my resignation to the Temporal Council yesterday. I stared at her, torn between joy and terror. When? It takes effect at the winter solstice. After that, I'll be as mortal as you are. The change began subtly. That winter, Vexania didn't disappear with the first frost. She remained solid and present, learning what it meant to exist in linear time. I watched her discover hunger, fatigue, the simple pleasure of sleeping beside someone she loved. It's so intense, she marveled, curled against me on a snowy January morning. Every sensation, every moment. How do you bear the weight of such vivid existence? We don't know any different, I said, stroking her silver hair. Felt different now, still beautiful but somehow more real, less ethereal. Are you sorry? Never. She kissed my shoulder. Though I'm beginning to understand why your species values time so highly. When you only have so much of it, each moment becomes precious. She aged slowly at first, her immortal biology adapting to mortality over months rather than years. But by our next autumn together, I could see the changes. A faint line at the corner of her eyes, a slight deepening of her voice, a gravity to her presence that hadn't been there before. Do you miss it? I asked as we sat by our bridge, 46 years old to her apparent 30. Miss what? Being eternal. Seeing across dimensions. The power you had. She considered this, watching leaves dance on the water below. I miss the perspective sometimes. The ability to see patterns across centuries, to watch the grand sweep of civilizations. She turned to me, smiling. But I wouldn't trade this for anything. This is what love is. Choosing one perfect thing over all possible things. We married that December, 40 years after our first meeting, with falling snow as our witness. Time moved differently when shared. Years flowed past like seasons. Birthdays, anniversaries, quiet mornings and passionate nights. Vexania embraced humanity with the same intensity she'd once brought to cosmic observation. She became a physicist, her otherworldly knowledge translated into groundbreaking theories about dimensional space and temporal mechanics. Colleagues thought she was a genius. They had no idea she was literally from another dimension. Dr. Morgan, a graduate student, asked during one of her lectures, "How do you conceptualize time as a navigable dimension?" Vexania smiled, and I saw echoes of her former self in that expression. "Imagine you're standing in a river," she said. Most of us experience the water flowing past us in one direction. But what if you could step out of the river entirely, see it from above? You'd understand that the water exists all at once. Upstream and downstream are just matters of perspective. I watched from the back of the lecture hall, proud and amazed. She was 50 now, her silver hair touched with white, laugh lines mapping the joy of 2 decades together. Still beautiful, still brilliant, but beautifully, wonderfully human. That night, as we prepared for bed, she caught me watching her in the mirror. "Do you ever regret it?" I asked. "Giving up eternity?" She turned, pulling me close. "Tobias, I've lived more in 20 years with you than in 40,000 years without you. Eternity is meaningless if you spend it alone." But I could see time's passage in both of us now. I was 58, my hair completely gray, my body settling into middle age. She was aging more slowly, but aging nonetheless. Our 70s brought a different kind of intimacy. Quiet mornings with coffee and newspapers, evenings reading beside the fire, the comfortable silence of 2 people who'd shared a lifetime together. Vexania had to retire from active research. Her otherworldly knowledge was becoming harder to disguise as she aged. We moved to a small house near our bridge, where she could watch the seasons change from our front porch. "Do you think they miss you?" I asked one autumn evening. "Your people." She was 73 now, her hair pure white, her face mapped with the geography of decades spent smiling. Still beautiful to me, still the otherworldly being I'd fallen in love with, but anchored now to the same timeline that held me. Perhaps, she said, settling into the chair beside mine. But I imagine they've found other observers. The universe is vast. There are always more watchers than things worth watching. Was I worth watching? She reached for my hand, her fingers intertwined with mine after 50 years of practice. You were worth everything. We sat in comfortable silence, watching the sun set through October maples. I was 81 now, my body carrying the full weight of a human lifetime. Sometimes I woke at night and marveled that she was still there beside me, still choosing to share linear time with someone so ordinary. Tobias, she said quietly, I need you to know something. What? When your time comes to leave this existence, I won't be far behind. I squeezed her hand. Vexania, no, listen. I chose this timeline, this mortality, to be with you. When you're gone, I won't want to continue experiencing time without you. She smiled, peaceful and certain. We'll go together, or close enough. Now I'm 84, and she is 76. My body is failing in the way human bodies do, slowly, then all at once. The doctors give me months, maybe a year. Vexania knows. She's always been able to see patterns I couldn't. We're sitting by our bridge one last time, watching autumn paint the world in fire. Her hair catches the light like spun silver, and when she turns to smile at me, I see every version of her I've ever loved. The timeless being who first materialized here 60 years ago. The woman who chose mortality for love. The partner who shared every season of my life. Any regrets? I ask, though I know the answer. Only that we didn't have more time, she says. But then, I suppose that's what makes it precious. My chest tightens. The familiar ache that's been my companion these past months. Will you be okay? After. I'll be fine. She lies beautifully. But I won't be here long. Promise me something, anything. When it's your turn to go, remember what it felt like to be eternal. Remember the stars you've seen, the civilizations you've watched rise and fall. Remember that you were magnificent long before you met me. She kisses me, and I taste starlight and cosmic dust and 60 years of shared autumns. I'll remember everything, she whispers. But mostly, I'll remember how you taught me what it means to be alive. The sun sets behind the maples, and for a moment, she flickers, not fading, but shimmering with the light of distant galaxies. My eternal love, my impossible gift, my partner in this brief, brilliant dance through time. Tomorrow the leaves will fall, and winter will come, and our story will join all the others that have played out beside this bridge. But tonight, we are here together, aging and mortal and absolutely alive. This might be our last October together, but it was worth every autumn we shared.